All right, here we go. So, I'm going to talk about, I guess, something I've been going through. It's something that I've always gone through. Okay, been on the floor now, working on the floor with nurses for 10 years. Okay, so I guess in some capacity. So I was 20 working on an ambulance, and so now I'm turning 30 this month. That's exciting. And I've been working in and out of hospitals ever since. So I got my EMT at 19, started working like 19, 20 as an EMT. And as an EMT, you're still working with nurses. We do something called CCTs, which are critical care transports, where you have all like a critical care nurse and you have two EMTs in an ambulance. And you drive to a hospital, you pick up a sick patient, and you drive them to another hospital. And I'm holding my phone, so it's going to be a little shaky. I don't have my laptop, so I can't go live. My dog ate my phone, my laptop charger, so I'm using my phone. This is the first time I've done it on my phone in a while, so I'm not live, and I like doing live videos more. I like the spontaneity of it. I'm not gonna edit this or anything, so if someone's gonna listen to this, they're just gonna listen to my rants and my digressions, I guess. So, I guess the subject of this is like politics of working on a nursing floor. So I'm just gonna kind of discuss my thoughts and musings of the politics of a nursing floor. Because I've worked on lots of different nursing floors. I've worked for like maybe five different hospital systems, worked in five different hospital systems, and it's all the same. It's all the same. The only difference that I know is the difference between night shifts and day shifts. The night shift politics are completely different than the day shift politics. I've done both, and I know how to do both, but they are both different. Um, and night shift politics is nothing. You get to do whatever you want, pretty much. No rules. No, there's rules, but it's not as political. You can say whatever you want. Let's just be honest. If you're working the night shift, you can say whatever you want. I mean, no one's gonna yell at you unless you're too loud. Like I'm too loud. That you'll get dinged if you're too loud, right? If you're waking patients up, not a good look on the night shift. So, like number one priority on the night shift is don't wake up patients by being too loud in the nurse's station by goofing off and laughing too and talking too loud. That's why I like the days because I can talk as loud as I want and no one's gonna bug me about it. But you got to watch what you say, right, on the day shift. So it's different, right? So a night shift, nobody's there. Day shift, everybody's there. So, so talking about days, like how do you be successful? How to be successfully navigate the politics of a day shift, med surge floor or any floor with nurses on it. And as a nurse now, and before not being a nurse, working for nurses, right, under the direction of a nurse, I think I have an okay perspective. I've worked core staff full time days for multiple different hospital systems. And so, you know, you're the face of the hospital, right? When you walk in the room, you are representing the hospital. So there's a certain look they want. There's a certain level of care and communication style that is promoted. And I enjoy speaking like that, right? So I naturally do well on days because one, I don't want to fight with anyone. One. Number two, I'll put my hands up here. Number two, I like being nice to people. I don't like being mean to people. Okay. Number three, what's another one? And these are just off the top of my head, just thinking about this. How do I navigate it? So, so you know, having a so I love this term. This is like a gem term. So I'm giving my gems right now, okay, guys. So I don't know if anyone's gonna listen to this or get any gems out of this, but these are my gems. So an unconditional positive regard for your fellow coworkers and your patients. Okay, unconditional positive regard. To have an so that's a really seriously powerful thing. If you guys can do that, because you will win. You will win most of the time, almost all of the time, when you have an unconditional positive regard, because that means that you have a leg up because you won't get flustered, you don't get upset, you don't get offended, you don't hold anything against anyone, right? So if you have this unconditional positive regard, you aren't looking to, you aren't looking, to trap anyone, right? To snare anyone in your clutches like some people do. So when you have this way of speaking with people, you don't judge people, right? So there's, along with unconditional positive regard, I have four little ways of speaking with people. So like the four kind of little things. Let's see if I can pull them out of my brain right now because I'm a little tired. So like no judgment is a big one. No blaming, no shaming, right? So no judgment, no blaming, no shaming, and what else? What's another good one? We don't judge, I don't blame, I don't shame, and I don't guilt trip anyone. No judgment, no shame, no blame, and no guilt. Okay, so we're not putting that on anyone. Okay. Now nurses have to judge, right? Assessments is a judgment. Making an assessment is a judgment. So I'm not saying don't assess patients and don't assess behaviors, don't set limits, and don't protect yourself from people who are dangerous. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you're speaking with people, here's a great example. I have a patient. She's a smoker. This is hypothetical. She wants to go out for a cigarette, but she has COPD and she's on oxygen. And if she leaves, she might die because she's too sick. But she's pissed because she wants to smoke a cigarette. So, my judgment of her choice is going to make no impact on her decision to stay or go. Okay. Actually, it might. If I judge her, she might go. She might be like, F you, bro, I'm out, right? So, in the spirit of those concepts or those principles, instead of saying, well, smoking is bad for you, or if you go, you could die, or, smoking is why you got here in the first place. Saying all this crap, all this judgment and blame and shame and guilt and all this stuff does not go anywhere. So, what would be therapeutic? What would be a way that builds rapport, that gives emotional support, that holds somebody accountable, or gives them, gives them an avenue to stay, right? So something that might work, and I'm not saying it's going to work every time, but one thing you can say is like, oh man, I know you really probably want to smoke a cigarette, right? So that's validating. So you would validate them. Oh man, I bet you want to. Yeah, I can see that you really want to smoke. I hear that you've been smoking since you were 11 years old, so I can understand how you really want to go smoke a cigarette. Well, you are going to be discharged today. There are discharge orders. You'll be able to smoke a cigarette when you discharge, right? We're almost there. We're almost out. You're almost out of here, right? Something like that. Offering a nicotine patch, offering nicotine gum, offering, to talk with a doc about like Chantix or whatever. Just not judging them and giving them some support and not, letting it affect you is a really powerful thing. Okay. And so I guess now pulling that back, again, I'm going to digress. I'm going to go back to the politics of the floor. When you take those principles, you have this unconditional positive regard for everyone you talk to, right? You don't use judgment or shame or blame or guilt when you're speaking with people. And you're collaborative, right? We're a team here. You use team dynamics. And you're able, these are these things when you implement them onto a nursing floor, allow for a one to have good shifts because you aren't going to you don't lose your cool because you're not taking anything personally. Don't take anything personally. That's a big one. So I guess that's another one. So I have like my principles, right? I have like all these little things. Don't take things personally. And so those are some big things for me. Okay, so if you're a nurse, if you're listening to this, if you made it 10 minutes into my rant, let me know what you think about these things. I've worked with many nurses that love to judge. They want to sit in the judgment chair, baby. Sit in that judgment chair, make your judgments, say everything nasty about whatever it is you feel because you see this person and blah, 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 blah. You can literally go on a soapbox about how you can't stand somebody if you want to about anything. Like, you really can. You could do that about anything. And it's not powerful. It doesn't make anyone better. It doesn't make you look good. It gives you a bad reputation. It doesn't help anything. And honestly, might cause cancer, okay? So if you think about it physiologically, you start judging stuff like this, start saying all these nasty things, these toxic thoughts. When you have toxic thoughts and you have stress build up, you have cortisol build up, I mean, you can have like really negative physiologic changes in your body and your system when you have bad thoughts. Your thoughts have an impact on how you feel. And guess what? I mean, I think I have really good thoughts. I don't think of anyone negatively. I don't take things personally. I don't harbor anger or any kind of animosity towards anyone. I've made peace with everyone in my life, right? So I'm not like, I love to forgive. I seek to forgive, right? Opportunities to have grace. Look for opportunities to have grace for people because we're all imperfect, right? We all make mistakes. To err is human, right? So looking out for opportunities to do that and then letting it go and not letting it stay in your brain, just let it go. So those are some social tools that you can use on a nursing floor with your managers, with your charge nurse, with other nurses on the floor, with your CNAs, right? You can use with students. You can use these tools with your patients, especially because anyone with personalities that might be prickly. When you use these tools, you don't get caught up in problems because you're not getting into problems. So those are a few things that I like to implement while working on the floor. And so another one is setting really strong boundaries. So I worked in a chemical dependency floor where you have a lot of, behavioral issues. So someone with maybe, addiction. A lot of times someone who has addiction may have some underlying like pathologies like borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder or sociopathic or psychopathic personality disorder. So there's all kinds of like these personality issues that come with, and then couple that with multiple external stressors and coming off of the drugs that you love. And you really get a mix of colorful attitudes. I'll say it that way. You get a mix of colorful attitudes. And, the more you can smile and the more you can keep it light and the more you can not get flustered or get upset because of something someone said and have pity over judgment, right? Pity people. When people are really just nasty, when you pity them, you say, you know what, it's so sad, that they're like that. That's really got to be hard to every day have to be like that. And they're sick and they're having all these problems. You can really put a positive spin on something like that and then set boundaries where, okay, this person can be dangerous with their words. This person's dangerous with their actions. This person's dangerous with their behaviors. I'm going to set limits with my communication with them, right? So limit setting, right? I can't talk about that with you right now. I'm not in a position to speak about that. I don't feel comfortable talking about those things. I need this to stay, I can't talk with you about those things, right? Setting those kinds of limits where we're not going to go there, right? If you're having a problem, I can have you speak with a manager, but I can't talk to you about those things. Or, some like that, and that's only one little thing. But setting limits like that, or setting limits where, sorry, I'm switching hands now. I'm like holding my phone and like talking to my phone. And let's see if I can get a shot of my cat. Oh, let's get my dog. You can't see my dog. He's a mastiff. There's my dog. And there's my cat. There's my dog. He's a puppy. And where'd my cat go? There's my cat. And there's my dog. Alright, back to my rant. Setting boundaries is kind of big too, making sure. And so, okay, let's just get off topic. Let's talk about my living situation. So this is my front door. There's my front door. This like thing right here, if you're watching this and not just listening, this big thing of tinfoil, the light shines right into my door over there to my bed. And if my door's cracked open and the light shines in, it wakes me up. So that's why I put that there. So if anyone's like, well, he's tinfoil, man. So anyways, yeah, my house is a little bit wrecky. I got kids and life going on. Anyways. So, okay, so what's some other stuff? Okay, so how can I make this practical? Because I'm talking like very broad, general concepts that I use as like a foundation for like my attitude and my mindset when going on to going onto a floor, any kind of floor, and talking about patient families and stuff too. So all of this stuff can be applied to any of this, right? All of this can be applied to any situation. And then, in nursing school, you learn all your therapeutic communication, like silence, right? Active listening. So silence, active listening, empathy. Let's see, what else? So those are really like three little ones. There's like a list. There's like hundreds and hundreds, but those are the ones I like. Those are the ones I liked. Active listening can take you a really long way, right? Empathy and silence are all, and then like repeating back, right? So repeating back what you heard, being able to verbalize what you heard to clarify exactly what it is that they're feeling, right? So those are all things that you can use. Those are like tools. So I'm trying to get it back into like real situations. So like, let's say I'm a nurse, right? And I have a CNA I'm working with, and I need my CNA to be on my team, right? That I need my CNA. I cannot do this job without my CNA. I mean, I can, but the patients are going to suffer, right? I'm going to suffer. Everyone's going to suffer if my CNA doesn't help me. So how do I get my CNA on my team, right? How do we get team members to be active participants in the daily chores and daily decisions? And so one thing is involvement. And so one thing you can do is, one thing you can do is when you can have your CNA feel as though their opinion matters, when you give them permission to have an opinion about the patient or about the patient's status, whether it affects your judgments of the patient, your assessments, anything about how your decision, your day is going to go, or it may be completely off. They may have no idea what the heck they're talking about. But when you give them that authority, it doesn't have to be much. It has to be maybe just one question. How do you think this patient's doing, right? Or what do you think this patient needs today? What kind of stuff, what's your priority for today, right? When you can like give these little wins to your staff that you're working with, especially someone that's maybe below that you're directing, right? When you can give these little wins of like, wow, this person wanted to hear what I thought about the patient they're taking care of. Or wow, this person, wants to know, what I heard, or whatever. So when you include them, where they feel included directly in the daily decisions made by the by the team, that goes a long way. So that's one thing. Also, answering call lights and wiping butts and changing beds if you if you have time. I mean, that goes a really long way. Filling up waters and documenting INOs and ambulating your patient. I'm only if you have time, right? If you can't do these CNA things because you have nursing things to do, like passing meds or doing assessments or talking to the doctor or writing orders or whatever the heck else a nurse has to do, which is a laundry list. But if you're able to cluster your care such that when you go in, you fill the water, you maybe bring a warm blanket, or maybe you chart some INOs or empty a urinal while you're giving your meds. It doesn't take more than 2 minutes, and it shows the patient you care. It shows the techs you care, and it makes the team smooth. It makes everything smooth because they no longer have to do that. Now you're really being an asset to the team, and so when you become more useful and helpful to the other staff members, you become more valuable and you get less resistance when you ask for something. So those are a few things. Same goes for nursing. So like if you have another nurse who's giving blood, or you have another nurse who's doing a heparin drip, or you have another nurse who's just needs some co-signed insulin or a documented waste, right? Co-signed waste, narc waste. Oh, there's my kitty. So if you're able to contribute to the team, don't hold back. And like I've heard other nurses talk about this too. Be kind of a social butterfly. Be kind, be friendly, make friends, be nice. What's this cat gonna do? Oh no, what is he gonna do? Oh, what's this cat gonna do? Oh, he's gonna do something stupid. Oh, do something stupid, dude. Do something stupid, dude. What's he gonna do? Oh my gosh, he's so funny. Oh, that was good. All right. So this is my rant. Oh, let's see this little pup. See this little puppy. You see this puppy puppers. He's a puppy. He's a puppy poo. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. All right. I guess those are some rants. Those are my rants. I got more stuff, dude. There's so much freaking more. I got 10 years of experience with this stuff. I could seriously talk for hours on hours. I'm going to make this part 1, I guess, because I know there's more stuff. I'm going to keep talking, though, but I'm probably going to do another part to this. And anyone who's got 23 minutes into this and still listening, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. If you work in a hospital, if you don't, all this stuff is pretty universal. But it really goes a long way in the hospital setting because people are sick. They're in a state of extremis, right? They're extreme. They're very, very serious situations going on, and so when you have these attitudes and these thoughts and you carry yourself in a way that is healing, right? It doesn't put everyone on guard. And I've been judged so hard when I've been in the hospital by nurses as the patient. So I'm the patient, and the nurse that I have is just judging me like the Dickens, right? So, I guess I'll open up a little bit about, something like, okay, so hopefully no one hates me for, some OB nurses might just hate me so much. But, I didn't do vitamin K for my kid. So, so I didn't do a vitamin K shot. Yeah, I had my OB nurse said so many sleight of hand or backhanded, passive aggressive, rude, just totally judgy tone in her tone, in her words, in her look, everything that came off was like, you're dumb and you don't even deserve to have this baby because you won't give him this, vitamin K shot. That's how it came off. And it was very hurtful. And I forgive her now. and it's okay. I don't know her name. I don't remember what her face looks like. I don't remember anything about this nurse, right? I've given it up. I've given it up to God, right? I don't care. Move past it. I don't care. But the feeling still lingers. The feeling still remains. My memory of it is it's ingrained in me, right? And she doesn't. She has no idea, right? Because she's doing it constantly. She judges everybody like that. That's just how she is. That's her. That she's on autopilot, cruise control. That's where she's at when she talks to people. So, whatever. That's fine. Not therapeutic though. Not nice. Not helpful. And now I have a scar from it, and that's sad. So these things do matter. These things do matter. Okay, so we're gonna move on now. So the next little thing, communication is very important when you're speaking with people, and the politics of nursing. So when we're talking, right? Well, communication's not just, of course. I don't know if you've ever heard this. If you haven't heard this, I hope this isn't the first time you're hearing this. But communication is only 20 or 30% verbal, right? So when we're communicating, my tone, the volume, the cadence, my facial expression, how I'm standing, the way I use my hands, how the smile I have when I'm speaking, right? See how I'm talking with a smile, I can see myself. When you're smiling, you actually are 30% smarter. Okay, there's studies out there. I've seen studies. When you're smiling or you're in a positive mood, you operate 30% more intelligent. And your communication can be, your smile can go through your words, right through your voice. You can hear a smile through your voice. And this is very true. I'm rocking back and forth in my chair. I got a little rocking chair here. This is very true over the phone too, because nurses speak to doctors and family members and everyone over the phone. I talk to the pharmacy, and I talk to the lab, and I talk to the ER when I'm getting patients. Talk to the doctor when I need orders, right? I talk to the other units. I'm getting a transfer. If I'm giving a report, I talk to everyone over the phone. So, that really cuts a lot of your ability to relay how you're feeling and what you're communicating over, because you can't see you, right? So it's all voice. But you can hear a smile. You can hear friendly smile over the phone. And you can hear anger over the phone, frustration and judgment over the phone, just in the tone of someone's voice. And this stuff is gems, bro. Anyone who's listening to this, and I just say bro generally, I don't know. These things are like gems. Like if you can master your communication and you can control your emotions in a way that allows you to positively influence everyone around you, you can really steer your day in a way that may have more positive outcomes than you will ever know. And so I'm not saying it works forever, right? I've had problems. I've worked in psych wards where things didn't go well, and I literally had to fight people physically, like physically choke someone out. Like I hate to say that. I physically had to be confrontational. You know what? I'm not afraid to say that. I choked somebody out in front of my director, and she gave me like a coffee, like a free coffee at the barista at the local hospital barista. She's like, you handled that really well, and I just wanted to not give you this as a token of my appreciation for how you handled it. And I freaking grabbed him by the neck and guillotined him. I guillotined him, choked him out, and then put him in restraints. And because he was trouble, dude, he was freaking trying to kill us. Anyways, so doesn't always go well, even when you have these little tools. But that is, again, like, how many times has that happened? Like maybe 6 or 7 in 10 years. That's maybe happened 7 times. I can count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 20 times. Okay, I'll take that back. Maybe 20 times it's happened in 10 years, right? So 2 times a year, maybe. Maybe I might be downplaying it. I don't know for sure. It's been a long time. It's been years since I was doing it. It was doing it, back when I was like 21, 22, 23, 23, all the way to 23. I started going to 21, 22, no, 21, 22, 23. I think by 20, 24, 25, 20. Oh, no, I did for like 6 years. Okay, so, anyways, I'm not saying that these things I'm talking about are going to fix everything. But what they do is, I think they protect your mental health. They protect my mental health. I don't think about work when I'm not at work, right? I'm not like harboring anything. If there was any kind of, altercation or some kind of miscommunication or friction, verbal friction between me and another nurse or something, or a staff member, I'm not holding any of that against them, and I wouldn't even keep that in my mind, right? As it's going to happen again, and they're always going to be like this, blah blah. Every day's a new day. Every day's a new day. Everybody gets a new slate every day, and that's especially good in psych, but it goes for everyone. It goes for staff and patients and everybody. Every day's a new day. Just because they acted a certain way last time doesn't mean I have to assume that that's going to happen today. And it's powerful when you can set that aside and give somebody a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance and a fifth chance and a sixth chance, and you just keep giving them chances because the only other option to harbor it all and be angry is not worth it. Is not worth your mental health. It's not worth my mental health, at least. And so I'm not saying just let people railroad you. You do need to set limits. Like if somebody starts talking rudely, hey, if someone's going to talk rudely, that's okay to verbally say, the way you're speaking may be construed as offensive to someone who may not understand where you're coming from, right? That's a really nice way to say it. The way you're, the way you're speaking to me, if I didn't know you any better, I might think, I might think you're trying to be rude. So that's one thing. Okay. There's one other thing. There's a lot more other things. Look, I'm 32 minutes in. I'm gonna keep going. I don't care because it feels good to process all this stuff. So I'm just, this is more therapeutic for me than it is for anything else. And that's why I really do this. I mean, hopefully, maybe it helps someone. I don't know if it helps anyone. So, and I just, I think, I didn't lose it. So, so this is the other thing. And let me just think about it for a second. So,